Hi guys, this is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and I am super excited today to talk to you about the new moon in Taurus that is happening on May 11th, and it's happening at 21 degrees of Taurus. So, if you guys have any planets in your chart at 21 degrees of Taurus, then you know it's going to be a very active new moon for you guys and have a significant role in your soul's development. So, this is a very interesting new moon. Normally, I don't talk about asteroids a lot with the moons. I do talk a little bit about Chiron because it's felt so strongly by all of us. The other asteroids can have a more subtle effect in our life, so I normally don't bring them up. However, this one I felt really called to bring up because this new moon is actually going to be conjunct or right next to this asteroid, or it's actually not an asteroid. It's a point that's calculated. It's actually the farthest point of the moon. So like the basically the moon and then the furthest side of it away from the Earth, away from us. And this point is called Black Moon Lilith. And so basically, what this point is it represents a lot of the repressed feminine nature. So we think about the moon, that's the divine feminine, and we think about the furthest, least visible part of that side of ourselves. So there is like a deep emotional reservoir that is kind of untapped. And really, what I feel like this is all representing, because this moon is in Taurus, because the Black Moon Lilith is in Taurus, is a need for us to explore our desires, our desire nature. So we all have like a more primal and instinctual side of ourselves that will crave things. And we can oftentimes repress the side of ourself that does desire things, because we deem it, unsuitable, or society doesn't really allow us to explore that in a healthy way. And so I feel like this new moon is opening up a new cycle for the next 6 months for us to heal and explore some of our deeper desires, some of the things that maybe society has kind of, primed us to push down, or not fully embody and explore. I feel like a lot of those things are going to start to come to light over these next 6 months. So I think it's a really great idea at this time to really allow yourself to explore maybe some feminine aspects of yourself, or some aspects of your desires, or things that you want, or that you even lust for or sexually desire. Um, it's really great to explore those and how that can be a driving force in your life without you realizing it, because anything repressed is acting as a shadow, and the shadow is part of what drives our decisions, our way of being. And the more that we shed light on the shadow, the more we're able to see in which ways we're making decisions from that shadow. And I feel like this is not something that you can really think about in a very conscious way. You can you can think about it, but I feel like a lot of where this knowledge is coming from is from a deeper, more intuitive side of ourselves. Exploring the feminine nature, we need to explore it using, a feminine method, right? And intuition is that method. The feminine senses, it's not analyzing it per se. So at this new moon, it's very important for us to sense our subtle changes and desires. And the universe is very much helping us out, because this new moon is making a sextile to Neptune and Pisces. And any kind of moon that is making a positive aspect to Neptune is giving us the opportunity to have more psychic awareness, more sensitivity to the subtle energy shifts, more intuition, and being more in touch with our emotional body. So, this sextile with Neptune is giving us the power and the ability through spiritual and intuitive awareness to explore some of these deeper, more repressed sides of ourselves. And this is even amplified by the trine to by the trine to Pluto in Capricorn. If you know anything about Pluto, it's immensely related to our psychological awareness. So whenever there's a trine with Pluto, it's like we are able to deeply explore the psyche and the soul's desires and needs and evolution. But it does it through, again, this more psychic and intuitive nature, because Pluto also represents things that can be repressed, things that can't be seen or fully understood with the conscious mind. So this trine with Pluto is allowing us to look with our third eye to see what is deeper within us in relation to our desires. So it's a really profound new moon, and I think it's something that is going to feel very subtle in a lot of ways. And because it's a new moon in Taurus, of course, there's going to be lots of issues coming up around not only our desires, but the things that we have, how we really begin to understand ourselves by the way that we put, modifiers to our name or to our nature, saying, I am this, I am that, I have this, I have that, therefore I am this. So it's like the way that we start to define ourselves and differentiate ourselves from the world around us is through Taurus energy. Taurus energy is also feminine in nature. It is the sign that is ruling over Mother Nature. So even our connection to nature itself and the powerfulness of nature and how we really don't have full control over a lot of things in our life can come up when there's a new moon in the second house. With the second and eighth house axis where this moon is taking place, I mean, it's happening in the second house, but that always kind of triggers the opposite house. And that's the eighth house. There is that theme of powerlessness and power, control and being out of control. And so there may be ways in which our desires control us, or ways in which we need to better control our desires. So there's lots of themes around that can come up at this time. Definitely a lot of emphasis on resources. So you might feel like resources could be an area of life like finances, or your home, or I don't know, your car. Those things could present shadows in your life for you to explore the way that it's influencing you, controlling you. Taurus again has a lot to do with the physical body, the physical world. And so this does tie in very heavily with our sexual nature, especially with Black Moon Lilith. The whole story behind Black Moon Lilith, the mythology is that basically she was the first wife or woman of Adam, and she just didn't want to have the life that was necessarily expected of her. She had desires that couldn't be fulfilled by staying in the garden, hanging out with Adam and doing her thing there. So she left and created this sense of independence for herself, and pursued her own sexual desires, her own exploration of life in the world. And she was really demonized for it. Like, they literally called her a demon. And so there is this interesting shadow here between our desire for independence, desire to lust for things or go after things, and then being demonized for it. And this is all internal. So we have these parts of ourselves where we want certain things, but we demonize that part of ourselves, and that's how it becomes the shadow. And so that's really what we're exploring during this next 6 months. And we're going to again explore that with our third eye in a way where we're going to start to see things or sense things that we were never really able to see or sense before. So if you're not making the space for the feminine to come out, if you're not holding the masculine structure, creating a safe space, creating time for the feminine to explore these depths, you might not even get any benefits from this new moon. So I would encourage you to really explore the subtleties and the quietness and the inner meditation and reflection and intuitive insights at this time, because that's really where you're going to have this profound sense of healing take place. So I'm going to talk about the other aspects that are happening in the sky that aren't directly affecting this new moon, and the reason why I'm bringing up the word healing so much, because Chiron is very active in the sky during this time. So first of all, Mercury is going to be conjunct the North Node in Gemini. So they're both in Gemini. And whenever basically the North Node for all of us at this time is representing where we're meant to evolve as a society. Something that pushes us on our path or on our destiny to evolve. And Mercury aligning with this is basically saying that the way that we're meant to evolve is by having a new understanding, a new perspective, or more clarity in a certain area of our life. And I do feel like this clarity is coming in around these shadow aspects of our desires, or the things that we have or don't have, or our sexual nature. Any kind of Taurus themes, everything that I was mentioning before, basically, is like you're going to have more clarity now, and that's going to open you up to be able to do the work to make some real practical shifts in your life, because Mercury is also making a trine to Saturn. So it's not like we're just plopped in with this awareness and then we're just left like that. The universe is supporting us by giving us this trine to Saturn and saying that now that we have learned these new aspects of ourselves or have more clarity and understanding around them, we can take these insights and make a plan. Okay, if I have this desire and I want to not make it a shadow desire, I want to really follow this and give myself the opportunity to pursue this, or heal aspects around it. Let's make a plan to do that. Let's take the daily consistent action to do that. And the trine to Saturn gives us not only the ability to do it and to have long-term lasting success, but the desire to do it. It's not like we're going to get frustrated because it takes time or it's tedious. It's something that we're going to want. So if you are experiencing obstacles in this process of uncovering your desires or healing around your desires, or pursuing your desires, this Mercury making a trine to Saturn is going to give you the opportunity or the insight to be able to overcome certain obstacles that can be coming in your way. And then take the practical steps to create those lasting results. Mercury is also making a sextile to Chiron. So this is one of the first activations of Chiron that I'm going to talk about. There are multiple ones. But Chiron is an asteroid that deals with the past and wounding around the past. So Mercury making a positive aspect to Chiron is saying that we are healing and letting go of some of these old past wounds, specifically around our mindset. And so basically the wounds can create certain automatic thoughts or automatic triggers in our mind and these certain thought loops that aren't benefiting us. And Mercury making a sextile here is basically saying there's going to be a healing of the mind so we can begin to let go of some of these past wounds and make a step forward. You can't just take the practical action without the healing. I talk about this a lot, but the internal work is absolutely just as essential as the external work. And so that's really what this is giving us the opportunity to do, is both of them simultaneously. So we also are going to have Venus and Gemini making a square to Jupiter in Aquarius. This is very interesting because Venus and Jupiter, especially Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus, has a lot to do with our desires and going and pursuing the things that we desire. The things that bring us joy, at least in this moment. And it's interesting because Jupiter can often deal with excess. And a square is a harsh angle. So it means there can be this point here where we could go into excess trying to pursue our desires, where we can overindulge, where we cannot really understand where the practical boundaries are in terms of what we want and what we should want, in the sense of, what is best for us. So it's really interesting because I feel like this square is giving us the opportunity to really sink in and explore what we're craving, what we're wanting, what we're desiring. But at the same time, there can be that shadow side or that negative aspect of overindulging, of doing too much, of being, of kind of wanting what we want, but now, and maybe not actually being ready for it yet, or have done all the work necessary to have what we want yet. So just keep that in mind. There are a lot of practical aspects with Mercury making a trine to Saturn. I think we are able to see in a very practical way what we can achieve, but then there's this other side of us kind of pulling us, being like, but I want this now, even though I haven't done maybe everything I need to do to get this, or I, want maybe more than I should, or, just any kind of aspect where it's like our desire nature kind of taking over us. So it's again this exploring this whole kind of more, I feel like it's a kind of like a very philosophical or esoteric, intangible kind of new moon. I really am not seeing this as a traditional new moon in Taurus. We're gonna work on our finances. Yeah, that can come, but I feel like what's really happening is a healing and a deeper understanding of our desires and pursuing those things. And because of that, we're going to see the negative side of those as well, which is the overindulgence of those desires. Okay, we're also going to have Mars in Cancer making a sextile to Uranus at 0 degrees and a square to Chiron at 0 degrees. And I mentioned 0 degrees because whenever something is at 0 degrees, and maybe some minutes, but specifically 0 degrees, it always is very prominent. It's usually felt very strongly, and it's usually one of the most important parts of an aspect going on. So there's lots of aspects, and they might be farther away, but when it's exactly aligned, it's very important. It's there to draw our attention to it. So Mars in Cancer sextiling Uranus. This is very interesting because these both have supercharged energy. Mars, I feel like, is this kind of, or it's an internal battery. It's what literally energizes us in life to go out and to be motivated to create the things that we want or to create change. And Uranus is this unstable energy. I think of it as lightning, and you don't know where lightning's going to strike, but it can feel destructive, but what it's really doing is just creating radical instant change in that area. So it's interesting to have these two charged forces working together, at 0 degrees, again, in an exact alignment, meaning that it's extra potent, extra powerful. And it's basically saying that we're going to feel extremely motivated at this time to make instant changes in our life. We're going to look at something once we have this insight and we see the practical steps, and we're going to be like, I want to change that right now. And that can kind of go with like the Venus square Jupiter, is this desire for what we want now. And Mars can be like, okay, well, I'm going to take action right this second to make that change now. Is it going to be changed in that moment? No. Mars is starting the action, it's starting the change, but it is going to take time to unfold. And Mars sextiling Uranus can create a sense of impatience, especially with Venus square Jupiter. There can be a sense of impatience to get what you want right now. So just understand that in the astrology and in our lives, we're going to feel like we want something maybe sooner than we can have it. But this energy is really great in order to get the ball rolling, to get things started. However, there is not a blockage, but something that needs to be overcome in order to really be able to pursue this path, because Mars is also making a square to Chiron. So what is that saying? Well, Mars is in Cancer and Chiron is about the past, and they're making a harsh angle. So what it's saying is that there is a need to overcome some of these past frustrations and past wounds. I really feel like because Mars is in Cancer, it has a lot to do with emotional wounding. We have a lot of emotional wounding that we need to put energy into healing. We have to actually put effort into healing consciously in order to start to change our perspective. Mercury conjunct the North Node, change our mind, see things differently, and then take action towards our goals. So if we are just like taking action and kind of bulldozing and not recognizing how the past is influencing our decisions and mindset now, we're going to start with the wrong foot. You know what I mean? Like, we have to clear some things out of the way. We have to begin a truly new cycle, which is a new moon. And so Mars making a square to Chiron is saying, don't bring the past with you this time. And I'm sure, we're humans, so some of us will be doing that to some extent, but this is trying to give us the opportunity to do our very best, using our own willpower and effort to really clear the slate. So if you have a certain desire, if you have something that you're trying to go after, or you have a shadow side with that desire or that sexual nature, that is asking to be cleared at this time. So really, really try through whatever means you like to use to heal, to bring it to light, to bring it to awareness and release it. And this is especially emphasized because Saturn is also making a sextile to Chiron, saying, again, the practical effort, the daily practical steps towards healing is really going to benefit us significantly at this time. And Saturn has been making a sextile to Chiron for a while now. So it's not like it's this specific to this new moon, but it's basically saying we're meant to be healing a lot of this stuff that has come up over 2020 and even years prior. So the little daily practical things is really all it takes. Having some things built into your day where you have a chance to reflect, where you have a chance to, like meditate or take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, and retrain your mind and your thoughts to not continue that same cycle and same pattern as before. And you know what you need to let go of and to heal in order to be successful. And Chiron is also making a sextile to the North Node. So again, this is our destiny to be healing from these past events. As a society as a whole, we are being called, we are being pulled to release, to let go of the past, and to begin a true new cycle where we can release the shadow of our repressed desires, or the shadow side of our desires, or the shadow side of our sexual nature, or of, maybe even our fear around resources and confidence and, you know, what is in our control, what's out of our control, all those things I was mentioning. We're meant to be healing the wounding of the past around that. We're meant to be releasing it and starting new. And it's really interesting because, you know, a lot of crazy stuff is going on right now in terms of the economy. I mean, it looks really strong, but I definitely think with Uranus involved, you know, with Uranus making a square to Saturn, there's an instability there, even though it looks like the stock market is going up and the housing market is going up. It's a sense of instability. It's not like it's going up in a really stable way. It's like it's going up and we're all looking around like, when is this going to crash? And a lot of that is, again, this like kind of Taurus energy of safety and security and resources. And so it's going to be important for us to heal these parts of ourselves, because the world around us is not going to give us this like stability and the safety on a platter. Like, here you go, here are your desires, here's a sense of stability, like you don't have anything to worry about. It's always going to be a little bit chaotic in the world around us. We're not always going to feel like we have the support and the things that we need to get our goals. We're going to have to do a lot of manifesting, do a lot of internal work to feel like we can create that sense of stability within ourselves, even though the world around us is slightly unstable and chaotic. And I feel like this new moon is giving us this opportunity. It's not saying that everything's going to be perfect. It's saying that we need to create these things for ourselves. So I hope that makes sense. So now I'm going to go ahead and break it down for each of the zodiac signs. Before I do that, I just wanted to mention really quickly that I'm going to be launching my membership, the North Node Society, on May 25th. And we're going to be talking about your purpose and how to pursue your purpose, what that even really means. It's not just about career. It's about you using your life energy to the best of your ability, you using your gifts to the best of your ability to really impact the world around you in a positive way and to feel fulfilled. So we're going to be covering that in my membership. I'm going to be teaching you a ton about astrology and just about yourself and your own psychology. And you can check that out using the link below or checking out willsboom.com. And yeah, it's only going to be $20 a month, and there's going to be so much there. It's basically a whole astrology course there and so much more than astrology. So yeah, I hope that you get on the wait list, and if you have any questions, you can pop them down in the comments below. Okay, up first we have Aries Rising, or you know, you can also look for your sun sign too. And for you guys, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your second house of finances and of resources, and it's going to be again conjunct the point Black Moon Lilith. And it's making a sextile to Neptune in your 12th house and a trine to Pluto in your 10th house. Okay. So I like to pull some tarot cards because I feel like that really helps me get clear on how this message applies to the people who feel called to really tune in to this YouTube channel. Yeah. So it's interesting. I feel like it's interesting. I feel like if you didn't watch the general overview, I definitely suggest checking that out. Because I feel like, especially since this new moon is happening in your second house, the energy around this is going to be very similar to what I was saying in the overview, and like a pure version of that. It will differ slightly for other people. Because the second house is the same house, like the same energy as Taurus. It's about our resources and our sense of stability. And it's interesting because I feel like with the sextile to Neptune in the 12th house, there's a need for you to really use your intuition and to have time alone to process this new moon. And I also pulled the Four of Swords, which says rest. So I definitely feel like at this time, you're maybe meant to kind of have a little bit of a break. when it comes to just your life. Maybe you just honestly need a break. Maybe you've been working really hard on your finances, and this is saying that I feel like you're really exploring this shadow of your desires in terms of your finances and resources, just like I was saying before, but in connection to your career, because it's making a trine to Pluto in your 10th house. So it's almost like as you're moving through your career and exploring that, you are going to be uncovering different ways, like different aspects of yourself in terms of your finances and desires around money. I feel like that's super general. Let me pull a few more cards. I'm really seeing a shift in your mindset because you're having Mercury and Gemini in the 3rd house. Master of King of Swords, intellect. Yeah. I'm really seeing a shift in your mind here. I feel like you're kind of okay. So I just pulled some more cards for you guys because I felt like I needed to really sit with what I was reading and get some more information. So with this new moon happening in your 2nd house, this is really where we start to see a tangible, like, new beginning in terms of finances and resources and things like that. However, again, I feel like your reading this whole reading, I feel like, has a lot more to do, or this whole moon has a lot more to do with like the intangibles, but I am getting this sense for you that there's a lot going on in terms of your mindset and career, because this moon is making a sextile to Neptune in the 12th. There is a need for you to rest, which I just mentioned. But then it's also making a trine to Pluto in the 10th, which is all about this transformation that's happening over a long period of time in your career. And it's funny because I pulled the time card. I am getting the sense that it's a very slow moving career transformation. And I feel like you guys might be either really busy and that's why you need to rest. Like maybe you don't have enough time for yourself, or maybe this is something that takes a lot of time and there's like no need to rush it. But I'm just getting this sense of like this very strong like energy around your direct like life direction and purpose in terms of career, because I pulled the Sun card and the 10th house, with which both have to do with purpose and career. And I feel like this time card is giving me the vision of you guys having kind of maybe either a lot on your plate and not having enough time, or desiring to make these changes like faster. And I feel like what this is saying is that there is a large cycle playing out where it's going to take its time for things to really come into view for you. So I feel like it's about you mastering your mind. This literally says master of clouds, which means of the mind, and it says intellect. I don't think it's about intellect. You guys are smart. It's not about you being smarter. It's about you mastering your mindset, because you have Mercury and Gemini in the 3rd house conjunct the North Node. And this is saying you guys are really supposed to be mastering your mindset around work, around I feel like it's around specifically your skills, because the 2nd house has to do with our resources, but I'm not getting the feeling that it's around money for you guys, even though it might apply for you. Maybe it's mastering your mindset around money. I think for a lot of you, it's mastering your mindset around the skills that you use for work. It's like you really believing that you're good at what you do, because I feel like that's honestly something that the universe is saying that's going to come with time, and also with rest. Like you can easily get disheartened when you're just going and always doing and always trying to learn and improve and not giving yourself enough time to rest. It's very easy to feel like you're not doing as good as you are when you are overburdening yourself. And so I'm getting the sense with this new moon is it's beginning a cycle where you're able to release maybe these shadow. I feel like it's giving you a new beginning where you're able to release the shadows of maybe self-doubt, or where you don't fully see your skills for how they are, or maybe your skills are really truly still developing, which is what I'm getting this feeling with this time card, is that your life purpose, your career, those things are still changing and developing. Your skills are still changing and developing. And it's about you really having a positive and supportive mindset throughout that process to believe in yourself. And also, I feel like this Master of Clouds is saying you are developing more skills and you're just getting better at what you're doing. You're getting more awareness around your career. So I feel like it's either around your skills, like where you're honing them, or literally your career is making changes and that's going to have more clarity come with time. But I think both of them, I feel like both of them kind of feed into each other anyway. Like I see you like mastering a craft and needing to develop more confidence in your skills and abilities. And I feel like this new moon is going to help you release some of the shadows that are telling you that maybe you're not good enough, or you're not where you're supposed to be, or you don't have all your ducks in a row in terms of exactly what you want to do with your career. I'm like, no, you guys are exactly where you need to be. The timing is just cyclical and you are at this point in the cycle and you need to be there. It's like, don't force it, don't rush. Allow yourself to rest. Don't feel a sense of urgency. Like everything is unfolding is exactly as it needs to be. And the shadow that needs to be released is just you telling yourself that you're not where you need to be, or you're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's what I have for you guys, Aries Rising. So I hope that this helps. And if it resonates, please comment down below. I cannot tell you how much I love to read your comments, even if I'm slow to respond because I'm not on YouTube a lot. I just can't even explain. They just make my whole day. So if you do comment below, I just want to say I love you and I appreciate you. And of course, if you want to book a reading, you can do so at willsboom.com. And if you're interested in the North Node Society to learn about your purpose, then you can check that out at the link below. Thanks. Bye. Okay, up next we have Taurus Rising. So for you guys, this new moon is happening, of course, in your first house because you are Taurus. Or, if this is you're watching for your sun sign, then whatever house your sun is in is where this moon is taking place. So yeah, whenever the new moon happens in a first house like this, it's really making an impact on us on a very foundational level. So it is going to be more impactful for you as a Taurus rising than it will be for other people. So I'm just going to pull some cards to kind of get a sense of what's going on. So you guys got the Tower Upheaval. Again, this is one of the most powerful cards in the deck in terms of life change. And it's interesting that I pulled that because I was just saying how important this is. 10 of Cups. This is one of the most powerful cards in terms of happiness. Wow, it says fulfillment. This is like, you cannot get any happier than this card right here. And then you guys got the Hermit, Seek Truth. That's so funny because you guys, this moon is making a trine to Pluto in the 9th house. And that's exactly what the Pluto in the 9th house journey is. It's you seeking your own inner truth and really tapping into your intuition and your inner knowing to find out what the truth is for you. Wow. This is so crazy. This moon is also making a sextile to Neptune in your 11th house, which is about our goals and wishes for the future. And this is about feeling truly fulfilled. So I'm seeing, you guys, that there's a new cycle opening up here for you where you're going to, I really feel like you're going to have your wishes fulfilled. You're going to have this amazing sense of inner stability, but it's going to come on the back of upheaval. And upheaval doesn't have to be this negative thing. It's just representing a need for a change, a restructuring. And I really feel like it's a big restructuring because it's happening in your first house, this new moon. And that can literally, I mean, the first house is about everything about you. So it can be your physical body, it can be about your purpose, it can be about your just general disposition and life direction. Oh my gosh, you guys, truth. There's a huge element here with Pluto moving through the ninth house. There's a longer journey happening here for you guys where you are seeking your own truth about life. And maybe it's possible that you have encountered people who are trying to tell you what the truth is about what you're meant to desire, about who you are, about what the world is. And I feel like you guys are really being challenged to totally restructure your beliefs and your truth to fit what resonates with you on a really soul level. And using your knowledge and your wisdom that you accumulate over the years. And also you see this owl here. Owls are extremely spiritual and intuitive. So using your knowledge, your wisdom, but your intuitive wisdom as well to really define your life and your truth on your own terms. I don't know how that can, how that will apply to you guys each individually, because that's kind of a broad thing, but that is looking really very important. Very, very important. Like I'm seeing that so strongly with Pluto in the ninth. Is like you guys are really undergoing a soul journey to understand the world. And this takes years. Pluto moving through your ninth has been there for a while, and it's going to take years to fully come out of there. And it's a very slow process. You might not even realize that you've been restructuring and redefining your beliefs and challenging your existing beliefs. You might not even realize it until you look back at this time of your life and maybe like 5-10 years from now and be like, whoa, I am a totally different person. I see the world in a totally different way. That's really what I'm getting the sense you guys are doing. And it's going to lead you to fulfillment, but you're going to have to make changes to your life based off of these beliefs. I think that's what that Tower card is saying, is that you're going to have these new ideas about what's possible for you, what the world is like, what you're meant to go after, what your purpose is, what the spiritual purpose of life is, like these really big philosophical questions. You're going to be redefining those, and as you redefine them, you redefine and readjust your life and who you are and how you present yourself to the world. And that can create a sense of upheaval. You know what? I don't want to pull, I want a card to fall out. I'm also going to pull one more card from this astrology deck. You guys are also having Mercury and Gemini in your second house conjunct the North Node. So another really big journey for you guys is around your skills, around your finances, around your sense of security, around your sense of self-confidence. Whenever the North Node is in a sign, it's there for a year and a half. And I looked up when it's moving. I think it's transitioning into your sign in December, which is going to be huge. I feel like this is prepping you guys. Whenever the North Node moves into your sign, and right now it's in my sign, and let me tell you, I've had some major life changes this year and just a completely new understanding of myself. It's really challenged myself to up level and change, and I mean, I'm still working on it, but that's what's coming in for you, starting in December when the North Node shifts into your sign. So right now I feel like you're doing a lot of the legwork. You're doing a lot of the preparation. Air element, communication. Interesting. I was just talking about Mercury and Gemini, which is all about air, which is all about communication. And for you, it's in your second house. So I feel like this can be communication in regards to your resources, in regards to your skills. Like maybe part of this is like you finally stepping up and speaking about yourself in the way that you truly deserve, like vouching for yourself if you're looking for a job or if you're wanting something out of life. Because the second house is where we have our desires. And I've been talking all about desires at the beginning, right? So you have all these desires, and it's like it's time to ask for them. It's time to ask the world for what you want. Put your foot down, because that's the only way you're going to reach true fulfillment, is by not only getting super clear on what you want, which Mercury conjunct the North Node in Gemini in your second house is getting super clear on what you want out of life, or maybe in your more immediate sphere, not like long term necessarily, and asking for it and saying like, this is what I want. This is what I want out of a partner. This is what I want out of my career. Asking the universe, asking your boss, asking your friend, you know, making sure people know exactly what you're looking for, and making the changes within yourself to be able to start manifesting and creating that dream life. Because there is a tower moment waiting for you. There is a change. There are things that need to fall away. There are shadows that need to fall away. This whole new moon is about uncovering those shadows. And because it's in your first house, there are shadows within you that are holding you back, and that might be keeping you from living your truth, accepting your truth, and asking for what you want and need out of people, out of the world, out of your career. It's time to not hold that back, you know? Wow, I think this is going to be very powerful for you guys. It's going to open you up to the 10 of Cups, which is true emotional fulfillment. And there's literally nothing more that we want out of life than to just be happy, you know? And so I feel like this moon is going to set you up on the long-term 6-month cycle to be able to achieve that 10 of Cups. But you have to be willing to have this tower moment and release the things that, you know, are not in alignment with that ultimate fulfillment, that aren't in alignment with your ultimate truth. And you have to be willing to stand up for yourself and ask for what you want. So I hope that this resonates. If so, please like and comment down below. And I know I said this in the last video, but I cannot describe how much joy it brings me to read your comments. So if you guys do that, I just want to say thank you so much. It means the world to me, even if I'm slow to respond to them. And if you're interested in booking a reading, you can do so at willsbloom.com. And if you're interested in learning about your purpose and astrology, I will have a link to the North Node Society membership down below as well. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Gemini Rising. So for you guys, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. Interesting. So yeah, I feel like the 12th house is always an interesting place to have like a new start in, because the 12th house is where it's like the last house where things go to die, to end, before they reemerge and are rebirthed in the first house. So it's like the last part of a cycle. It's where things are often hidden or unseen or more challenging to explore. But I actually like this because I feel like we've been talking about, with this new moon, we've been talking all about releasing these shadows of our desires, shadows of ourselves. And with the 12th house, I feel like it has a lot to do with our shadows, specifically our unconscious, that's driving us to act or behave in a way based off of the past in ways that we might not fully be aware of or have conscious awareness of. So I feel like the energy is very aligned, is what I'm trying to say. Interesting. Yeah, oh my gosh. Remember how I was just saying the 12th house is about the ending of a cycle? That's exactly what the Wheel of Fortune is. It's the ending of a cycle before it's rebirthed or reemerged in the first house. And you guys have the 3 of Clouds, which is about heartbreak, loss. The 12th house has a lot to do with loss as well. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm feeling like there's a rebirth happening in terms of your heart, just based off of this. So if you guys have gone through heartbreak or some really challenging situations, I feel like I'm seeing this next chapter, this next cycle, helping you close that out to start anew, is really what I'm getting the sense. And independence, interesting, and communion. Independence. Yeah, so if you did have heartbreak, this could be you really leaning more on yourself, becoming more independent in your nature. And and we have communion, which is about really, really tuning into the universe and listening to the signs and synchronicities around you and trying to understand what the universe is trying to tell you about where you are at in this cycle. That is going to give you, I feel like that's going to make your heart feel a lot more at ease when you realize that the universe is supporting you and that you're not just falling, you are on an uptick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is the wheel of fortune. It's going around. So you might be at the lower part, but you are rising up now. You're not just going to continue to fall. And I feel like that's what this communion card is saying, that there are so many signs and synchronicities around you saying that, showing you what the new beginning is, what is about to be coming in for you after some of this healing is done for this loss or heartbreak. And of course, the Gemini card fell out, and you guys are the Geminis, so this fits really well. So I don't really feel like, I was gonna say that's not adding a new message, but I guess it is, because you guys have Mercury in your sign right now, and it's making a conjunction to the North Node. So Mercury is your chart ruler, which has a lot to do with your purpose. The chart ruler always is the planet that is pulling us in terms of our life direction. And for you guys, like I said, it's Mercury, and it's going to be in your first house conjunct the North Node. So I'm really feeling like you guys are totally starting a new cycle, especially because this new moon is making a sextile to Neptune in the 10th house. I'm definitely getting the sense of healing and loving energy coming in through your career. I'm sensing that you guys have had some loss or some challenges in the past with this Three of Clouds, and you're totally beginning a new cycle where you're going to feel much more stronger, much more independent, and like you're finally achieving some of the things that you're desiring in terms of clarity around your purpose, clarity around your career. Like, I'm seeing this whole new cycle coming in for you guys. And this new moon is making a trine to Pluto in the 8th house. And I feel like this is allowing you to let go of some of those fears and insecurities about where your life is going. Because sometimes when we've had this loss or this heartache, it can build up these really rough exteriors around us where we start to fear things because we don't want to get hurt again. And I feel like that's what this communion card is saying, is it's saying that this is, I promise you, this is a new cycle. Just look at the signs. The universe is trying to say this all around you. You are releasing these things from the past. And it's okay to let go of those fears. You're not going to be hurt in the same way again. It's a new cycle. It's a new opportunity. And I feel like the universe is trying to tell you that it's okay to let go. It's okay to surrender to this, to allow this new opportunity, this new cycle to come in, and to not feel fear and harden your heart around it. Whether that's a new relationship, I don't know that it is with this independent card. I don't know if it's anything to do with relationships at all. There's just some sense of heartbreak, some sense of loss, some sense of challenge that you are going to be finally overcoming as this new cycle changes. Overcoming, not overcoming, releasing, letting go, and stepping into a super aligned path on your to your purpose. Really, I'm seeing you making strides in your career. I'm seeing your life direction becoming very clear, very exciting for you. So that looks very positive for you guys. I'm really excited for you, and I hope that this resonates. If so, please like and comment down below. The comments mean so much to me, you guys. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that does comment. Whenever I get the notification of it, it just lights up my whole entire day, and it really keeps me going. So I want to say thank you. And if you want to, you can purchase a reading from willsboom.com. And if you're interested in learning more about your purpose and astrology and exploring all that with me in depth, then you can check out the waitlist for the North Node Society membership in the description box below as well. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Cancer Rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 11th house of friendships, of groups, of connections, of social networking, of hopes and wishes and dreams for the future. And it's making a sextile to Neptune in the 9th house and a trine to Pluto in the 7th house. Yeah. What I'm noticing is that with this trine to Pluto for all the groups is that there is a larger thing happening here in terms of like a larger path of self-discovery and healing. And for you, that's in your ability to relate and connect with other people, your intimate relationships. Could even be your client work. And I pulled the King of Pentacles, wealth. Okay, guys. Not too shabby. So yeah, there's definitely a larger cycle of transformation, healing, letting go, self-discovery in your relationships. And that's ultimately playing a part right now in your wish fulfillment, in your goals, and in your connections, in your relationships, or your friendships. This is so weird. I just pulled this for Gemini, so I feel weird using it. But it's the Wheel of Fortune and heartbreak, Three of Swords. Okay, well, it's weird that it came out again, but I guess I'm gonna go with it. So, sorry, I just need a second to kind of shuffle these cards and have a look and see what's popping out at me. Okay, so I think the reason why I pulled these same cards for you guys was because you guys have a similar emphasis on the 12th house as the Gemini Risings did. For you guys, you have the North Node in your 12th house. And Mercury is going to be conjunct it, which is going to be emphasizing it, bringing more clarity to that area of your life. And the 12th house is about the ending of cycles. It's about, I was saying in the Gemini Risings, the 12th house is where things end and they are rebirthed in the first house. So it's like this whole year and a half that the North Node has been in Gemini, and I think it's going to be there until December if I'm not mistaken. This whole year and a half has really been about releasing a lot for you guys. Releasing, letting go. It can be about loss. I think that can be why I pulled the heartbreak card. You might lose certain things about your life that you liked. Maybe people or parts of your career or life direction that you liked or that you wanted, but maybe it was just the end of that cycle. It was just time for that to end, whatever it was, because the cycles card is here. It's just, it was the end and it was time to let it go. And I think this whole year and a half has been that kind of shedding process of letting it go, the things that are just ending. It's just the timing is done. There's universal timing on it. It doesn't have to have a reason. It's just what it is. And so I'm getting the sense that you guys are moving through a lot of cycles. Like, I feel like it's not even just one thing ending. I feel like it's going to be multiple things this next year and a half of like, okay, that's shifting. That part of my life is ending. That part of my life is ending. And it might be really good. Like, it might be stuff that, you know, you're moving into a house and you're leaving an apartment. And it's like you're ending this chapter of your life where you were younger, where you were more naive, or you were, you know, just didn't have as much like commitments or responsibilities. And it's like exciting to have a house, but there's still some sense of loss there. And I'm definitely seeing you guys building. I'm really feeling like you're building something very tangible, very strong. I got the second house, the King of Pentacles, and this new moon is happening in the 11th house, which is definitely about working towards your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. And the 11th house is one of the houses where it's a lot about building. it's like the house that you put work and effort into, and you see it paying off much later. It's an investment that you see returns on over time. And then that's what I'm getting the sense that you guys are really building up your finances, specifically like your financial foundations. And maybe you have to make some changes like to things that you're doing in order to like to step into greater wealth and prosperity. But I feel like it's saying that you guys are going to be doing that. If you don't feel that way yet, it is going to come. Yeah, I'm getting like lots of I feel like I'm getting like three different messages for you guys. The general overall message is that you are releasing a lot, like you're letting go of a lot of things that have ended their cycle. The second message is that you're building up your wealth for your future and like just your foundation for the future. So it's like as you release things, I'm seeing new things kind of sprouting in its place. They might not be fully grown yet, but I'm with the King of Pentacles, they feel like they're big energy, big time energy. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna like buy a stock for $10 or whatever. Like I'm seeing this being a huge step forward financially for you guys. And then the third message I'm getting is really around relationships. Like I pulled these two cards, inexperience and forgiveness. And normally when I think of this inexperience card, I think of somebody who's in their career and they're just at the start and they're maybe not super experienced at what they're doing. And that's not what I'm getting for you guys at all. Because they came out together, I'm really getting the feeling, and they're both sevens. This is a 4 and a 3. This is a 7. Definitely there's some mirroring happening here. These cards are connected for sure. I'm getting the sense that somebody may have hurt you without realizing it. It's like their naivete, like their inexperience, their just lack of understanding and knowledge somehow hurt you, and there's like a need to forgive them. And this might be only for some people, but there is an element here of forgiveness that needs to take place in order to kind of wrap up one of these parts of your cycles that you're going through as Pluto is transiting your 7th house. Yeah, I mean, all the other groups had like one message. You guys have 3 distinct messages, which is very interesting. So the new moon happening in the 11th house, I feel like is that building sense. That's where this wealth is coming in. I feel like that's you building your connections, you building your network, you taking steps towards your goals, like ending these old cycles so you can start new ones in terms of new goals. And the sextile to Neptune in the 9th house, I honestly feel like this is the universe really supporting you. Like the 9th house I feel like it's one of the houses most connected to God, where we feel like the sense of optimism that we are divinely being guided and that it's for our best interest. And with Neptune, there is also the sense of like spirit, like a spiritual hand kind of guiding you. So I feel like all these changes in and releasing and like new cycles starting in terms of like your goals, I feel like those are all being very divinely guided and supported. But because Neptune is in the 9th house, and the 9th house has a lot to do with like long-term vision and clarity, you might not have that clarity right now. It's a lot about trusting and surrendering, because Neptune can make things, it's like that divine hand is guiding you, but the divine hand is also blinding you because it needs you to really trust it. You're not able to see 10 steps ahead, and that's for your own best interest at this time. And then this moon is also making a trine to Pluto in the 7th. So I feel like there is a healing and a releasing of some shadow aspects in your relationships, in your friendships, and your partnerships, your close, intimate relationships. There's healing and releasing to shadow aspects in relationships. That's why I pulled this inexperience and forgiveness card. There's something here that is coming to the surface for you to like just let go of. So yeah, I'm curious like what that actually is for you guys. But that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I know that was a little bit more all over the place than usual, but that's what was coming through. So if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up or comment down below. All of your comments mean so much to me, you guys. So I really, really appreciate them, and I would love to hear what you have to say about how this applies to your life, even if I'm slow to respond. And as always, if you want to purchase an astrology reading, you can do so from willisbloom.com, which I link down below. And if you're interested in learning more about your purpose and astrology and your life direction and how to really tap into your innate gifts, then please subscribe to the waitlist for the North Node Society, which is also down below. All right, I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Leo Rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 10th house of career. Whenever something happens in the 4th, 7th, 1st, or 10th house, it has usually a pretty substantial impact on our life in terms of having a new beginning. So I really see this becoming or feeling very tangible in your life, seeing maybe some outward manifestations of this, even though I was saying it's a more of like a philosophical, energetic kind of feel for this moon rather than tangible. I feel like for you guys, it will be coming through tangibly. I keep pulling some similar cards across groups. It's so weird. I love to pull tarot to go along with the messages because it helps me with my, with my reading. And one of the cards I pulled for you guys is the Tower card, upheaval. So this is indicating a need for change, and what's really drawing my attention is this house here. It's like a change to your, literally could be a change to your home, but I'm really getting a sense it's like a change to some very foundational aspect of who you are. And it's funny because this new moon is in the 10th house of career, which is such a foundational aspect of who we are. I mean, how much time do we spend in our career? You also got the Three of Wands, the journey. So yeah, I'm feeling like whenever I see the journey, it feels like this very exploratory energy. Maybe you have some planning, maybe you have a map, but you're going out there without, like you have a plan about what your end goal is, but I'm seeing that with the journey card, it's like you don't really know if you're going to end up there, but you have that plan anyway, kind of like any business owner. Like you want to have a plan, but you don't know if it's going to work out as you plan because life is life. So I'm really in a sense for you guys that there's going to be some changes happening, some new beginnings happening in your career. And it's like, I feel like it's going to lead you to unexpected places. Like you're going to have these plans, but it might not end up how you thought it was going to end up. This new moon is also making a sextile to Neptune in the 8th house. Death and magic. This is exactly in line with the 8th house. The 8th house is the house of death and magic, the occult. That's so crazy, right when I was saying that. Yeah, this is very Scorpio energy. So this sextile to Neptune in the 8th house, I feel like, is definitely saying some things are going to be dying off. And it's going to feel... I think it's going to feel good, honestly. Like Neptune, sextile with Neptune feels good. Feels sensitive, maybe more emotional. But I feel like it's a sense of like release. It's not like, oh my God, this thing is ending and I'm so sad about it. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. Like, this is kind of crazy. I can't believe this is ending, but this is good. This is what I need. This is my choice. That's the feeling that I'm getting from this. You guys are definitely releasing some stuff. Maybe it is career stuff. It doesn't have to be like your career direction, although I'm getting the sense a lot of you are going to be starting kind of a new career direction or having insights about a new career direction, or maybe it's an aspect of your career that you're changing. It doesn't have to be your entire career, but I'm definitely getting a sense that like something is ending. Maybe it's in terms of your like thought process around it or the way that you've been pursuing it. Neptune sacrifice. Yeah. I feel like this is drawing extra attention to that sextile to Neptune. It's like, I feel like you guys are sacrificing something that in the short term might feel like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Why is this? It's like, it feels good. It feels exciting to have that ending, but it also might feel like, oh my gosh, like, is this practical? Is this realistic? Is this a good idea? And I feel like Neptune sacrifice is saying it's a sacrifice short term, but long term for your best interest. Part of fortune increase. I just wanted to pull one more card. Yeah, I feel like this increased card is saying that, I mean, part of fortune is literally where we find our fortune, where we find money, where we are able to really tap into our innate skills and create abundance for ourselves. And I feel like it's saying that if you are desiring to have a death of some sort in your career, whether it's about fears around it or shadow around your career, like maybe something has been going on within your career that's very negative and you've been meaning to, like, you've been needing to address it, this is your time to do so. Or it can be literally a change in your career. There's some kind of thing that you really need to let go of in terms of your, like, career. I know. And I feel like it's ultimately going to lead to more abundance. It's going to, and I like that this is increase. It doesn't say money, you know, because I'm really not getting the emphasis on money here, even though fortune has a lot to do with that. Um, I'm really getting the sense that your life is going to increase. Like you're going to feel like you're going from this state of having, like, of getting by to feeling like you're alive again. Like increased vitality, increased excitement in life, increased fulfillment, increased happiness, increased finances at some point because of this. And this new moon is also making a trine to Pluto in the 6th house. And Pluto moving through your 6th house, the 6th houses are like daily work. Like if we go into an office and we sit in a cubicle and we work on a computer, for a teacher at the front of the classroom, that is the 6th house. So Pluto moving through here is a longer term cycle of you really restructuring and transforming and changing the way, like your work, you know, your daily work routine, the way that you show up in the office. So I feel like that is transforming in order for you to find more, like, 10th house matters, which is like the larger purpose of our life, like a bigger career oriented purpose rather than like your job right now. I feel like it's like job with a capital J versus like lowercase j. Like one job is something that you have because, you know, it suits you right now, and then one is because it's like your ultimate gifts are being expressed in the best possible way. And so really what I'm saying is that your job right now is going to be transforming. Like that's the larger cycle. It's going to be taking years, but it's going to ultimately support your 10th house of ambition, of career, of legacy. Like what legacy do you want to leave behind? I feel like that is what's coming up. And there has to be endings. There has to be endings to the things that are going on now, or some aspect of what's going on now, or even your thoughts and emotions and feelings or way of approaching something now in order for that to happen. And you guys have Mercury in Gemini in the 11th house and the North Node in the 11th house as well. So I'm definitely seeing you guys getting more clarity about your goals. Or even like people coming in now who can tell you stuff or who can give you connections that will give you more clarity or that will give you like a leg up. So I'm seeing here either like your goals being super clear or people coming in to help support you to get to the next phase or the next step in terms of your legacy. So this feels really positive. Don't be scared of this upheaval moment. Don't be scared of this death. It's working in your favor. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If so, please like and comment down below. I've been telling all the groups this, but your comments mean so much to me. They truly make my day. And I just want to say that I appreciate everybody who does leave the comment, even if I'm slow to respond. And if you guys want an astrology reading, you can purchase one in the link below. You know, Will's Bloom astrology reading. And then if you guys are interested in learning about your purpose and your gifts and your life direction, then you want to check out the North Node Society and join the waitlist also down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Virgo Rising. So for you guys, Virgo, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 9th house. And it's making a sextile to Neptune in your 7th house and a trine to Pluto in your 5th house. it's interesting because even though the moon is in the ninth house, which is to me a lot about personal expansion, dealing with beliefs about the future, the sextile and trine it's making are to the seventh and the fifth house, which has a lot to do with relationships and romance. And I did pull the Knight of Cups, which is oftentimes related to somebody who is coming to kind of charm your pants off. You know, like this, I definitely associate the Knight of Cups with the fifth house energy, which is where you have Pluto transiting. And yeah, it's got the feeling of like, oh, I'm here to romance you. I'm here to charm you. I'm here to wine and dine you. And yeah, just interesting. You also have the Nine of Wands, resilience. So this is a more challenging card. I wonder what that's been for you guys. And you also have the Emperor, take up space. You have some pretty big energy here. The Emperor, I feel like, is you guys stepping into your power. So you might have been challenged recently with this Nine of Wands card. I really see the Nine of Wands is like you are not quite at the end of a cycle. That's the Ten of Wands. But you're right before it. You're like at the part where it's darkest before the dawn kind of energy. I really wonder where that's coming in for you guys. Maybe it's the fact that you guys have Chiron moving through your 8th house. Chiron moving through the 8th house is asking you to do a lot of healing of the past, a lot of childhood healing. Yeah, like a lot of healing around deeper wounds, and that's never easy, and that could be part of what the Nine of Wands is representing in your life, or these like this larger cycle of being faced with some of your deepest fears, of being faced with overcoming things from the past and having to let that go and not let it influence your life now. You guys also have Mercury and Gemini in your 10th house conjunct the North Node in your 10th house. So one of the larger cycles that you're also going through as well, there's multiple. Chiron in the 8th is very slow, so that's a larger cycle. Pluto in the 5th house is slow, that's a larger cycle. And the North Node in the 10th house is also a 1.5-year cycle. So you guys are really getting more clarity around your life purpose as the North Node is in your 10th house. So when the eclipses start this season, which is going to be the next one, there's going to be Sagittarius eclipse, and they start activating that 10th house, you're going to gain so much clarity about your career. Independence. Yeah, I feel like this is you really coming into like, I keep getting so many cards. I don't want to pull this many cards for you guys. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. So, and beauty. Interesting. I feel like this beauty card is really finding the beauty in the hard times. Like, I don't know what in your life has been challenging you to find a sense of resilience. Maybe it's the fact that you are really wanting that clarity in your career and really wanting to move forward and haven't yet because eclipses haven't really started yet. Pluto transformation. Maybe it's just this, maybe it's Pluto moving through your 5th house. That larger cycle of Pluto moving through your 5th house can be really interesting because the 5th house has a lot to do with like how we find joy in life and pleasure in life and pursue that joy and pleasure. And Pluto is this really deep, intense energy that asks us to go to a soul level and understand why we do things and transform and transcend these old patterns that are not serving us. So maybe us just seeking joy and pleasure and being lighthearted, that energy is mixed with this like really deep, intense kind of, yeah, death-like. Like Pluto brings about a death of an old way of being. So it's interesting to see these energies mix. So it could have some, I feel like the Pluto card is really, whenever I pull a card about a planet that's involved in the moon, I'm like, okay, that's going to be very important for you guys. So I am getting this sense of like really transforming this playful romantic side of your relationships. With this card, this is like the fifth house, and Pluto's moving through the fifth house. So that's really, really emphasized. I'm getting the sense here that you guys are stepping into an era in your relationships and just in your life where you're meant to be experiencing, I feel like, a greater sense of ease and flow in your relationships. I think that's why it's making a sextile to Neptune in the seventh, a trine to Pluto in the fifth. Like, you're just meant to feel right now like relationships and joy and things like that are coming to you. You're meant to be more optimistic, but you're definitely going to have to move past some of these shadows. Maybe there is some part of you that's fiercely independent, or that wants to maintain your independence while being in partnership, while working with others, while dating. It's like, I feel like maybe there's some shadows to be observed about this independence card, because this is Lilith, this is Black Moon Lilith, which the moon is conjunct. So it's like really exploring that sense of that independent sense of yourself. I think is going to be a really big theme around this moon, exploring that in terms of your relationships. And I feel like beauty, I feel like this card is saying like this is a time of beauty in your life and your partnerships, and it's supposed to feel good. I'm really getting that sense that like it's supposed to feel easy, it's supposed to feel good. And that's why I'm really confused about this resilience card. Like, I'm just so curious about what this is for you guys. I kind of feel like it has something more to do with career and healing, because so I was mentioning before with Chiron in the 8th house, healing a lot of those past wounds. I feel like that is actually going to help facilitate a greater understanding and clarity in your career. And maybe there is this element of you where you haven't fully stepped up into your power, because the 8th house has a lot to do with also our own power. And that might be why this independence card is coming up. I feel like maybe you guys are starting to get a sense of like a stronger independence, more power, and maybe there's like a fear of losing that. It's almost like you're just getting your footing with it, or you're just resolving some things related to the issues of independence. And it's almost like there could be a fear of possibly slipping back or things going in reverse. And I feel like, healing a lot of that, and I feel like you guys are basically stepping further into your power and you're going to start getting a lot of downloads as these eclipses start coming through the summer season. And that's going to help you get more clarity about your life direction and help you step up into this emperor role where you're really taking this independence to the next level in terms of your career and your life. Like, you're really being the leader of your life and stepping up in a very mature way. But again, this Nine of Wands card, I'm just so confused by it, because I'm getting the sense that you guys are definitely clearing up balance. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm getting. I think it's this balance of being like in a partnership, dating, working with other people, this element of you plus others, and then yourself. That's really what I'm getting, this need for balance. And I feel like it might have felt like an uphill battle to this point to reach a sense of balance. And it's like, now that you kind of have this balance, you're scared of losing it. But I actually feel like that fear can cause you to react strangely and put things off balance. It's like you need to step up as the emperor and know that you have this. Like, you have really closed out an old chapter and you're not going to go down that path again. You are going to gain clarity around your career, and you're going to start stepping up in bigger ways. And your relationship is there to support you and mature and grow with you. And you have that sense of balance, and it's going to continue if you just believe in yourself. And I think that's why this new moon is happening in your 9th house of beliefs. It's like I'm really seeing that you guys need to believe that you have the resilience to make it through all of these next chapters that are going to start coming up in your career, and that your partner is there to support you, that your relationship is there to thrive, or your friendships, your close relationships, or even your dating life. It's going to act as a source of joy and support and beauty in your life. And you don't have to cling on to this independence, like the shadow side of this independence. It's there naturally in you. You are the emperor. You are naturally independent and know also when to rely on other people. You have that sense of balance, and there's no need to like worry about that slipping away. That's really what I'm seeing. I'm really feeling like you guys are going to step up major in your career, but you're going to have to first start really believing in yourself that you have that ability to manifest that, to hold that power, to hold your boundaries. You have to really believe in yourself that you are not only able to have this beautiful, joyous time in your life and in your relationships, but also that you can pursue your career, that you have the resilience to make it through the obstacles, and that you're able to again hold your boundaries and keep your independence and balance while pursuing these dreams. So I hope that that resonates. If so, please like and comment down below. I just wanted to let you guys know that I read all the comments and they mean so much to me. So I really appreciate them a ton. And if you're interested in purchasing an astrology reading, you can do so from willsboom.com, linked below. And if you're interested in learning more about your life purpose, your innate gifts, and how to really capitalize on them and work through any limiting beliefs, then you should join the North Node Society. We're launching it at the end of May. And you can join the waitlist, also linked down below. So thank you so much, Virgo Rising. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Libra Rising. So for you guys, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. It's also making a sextile to Neptune in your 6th house and a trine to Pluto in your 4th. So what I've been really drawn to for each group is focusing pretty heavily on this Pluto transiting cycle, because of course it's involved in this moon, and it's just this larger cycle that we're all undergoing in a different area of our life, where we're really being transformed from the inside out. We're really being changed and tested and molded. And for you guys, that's been happening in your sense of home, literal physical home. It could be family, just some sense of foundation in your life is totally being altered. And that changes who you are, even on an emotional level. You know, think about when you move somewhere new. You know, like you change emotionally as a person. You undergo so much transformation when you have that new move. And that's really what's happening, is like your internal home is shifting, your physical home is shifting, your family is shifting. And Pluto is moving through here for a while. So it's this really long-term process that feels very subtle. Yes, this is interesting. So the 8th house has a lot to do with our shadow self, the 8th and the 12th. And because this new moon is already conjunct Black Moon Lilith, as I mentioned in the general overview, I highly suggest you watch it. It has a lot to do with our shadows, and I pulled the moon, which says shadow work. So I'm definitely getting the sense that you guys are doing some deep shadow work about who you are, because I pulled the Justice card, which is the Libra card. But I also feel like it's shadow work to create a greater sense of balance in your life. Because interestingly enough, I mean, I have Libra in most of my first house, so this is what lines up with my transits. I'm basically a Libra rising. And it's funny because I have, you know, Jupiter in Libra and such a heavy emphasis on Libra, but yeah, I struggle with balance in my life so much. I always go from like one extreme to another extreme. That's been something that I've been realizing about myself lately, is that, you know, what's causing that? Why, as a Libra, am I having a hard time balancing when Libra is all about balancing? Like, shouldn't I be super good at that? But it's not that simple. I think maybe Libras, even though we have this desire for balance and we can see fairness and we can see all the different sides, it can actually create an inability to balance. Because when you can see all the sides, it can be really hard to find it can be easy to understand that side, to go from this to that. And it can be hard sometimes to meet in the middle. So Libra is really great at mediating different ideas and bringing them together. Like if this person has this belief and this person has an opposite belief, Libras can come in and mediate and bring it together. But internally, we can see this side and we can see that side, but it doesn't always mean that we can bring it together in the center. Sometimes it means that we go to this side and we go to that side. And those are extremes. And Libra's life purpose, or not life purpose, but part of Libra's life path is about bringing those together and finding the center. And so you as a Libra might not struggle with the balance as much, but this is definitely something that, you know, is speaking to me. Is that part of my shadow work is about finding this balance. And this might be about finding balance in your life, or again, this is Justice is the Libra, is a card associated with Libra. So it can just be about doing shadow work, literally about yourself, about anything related to your life path, and who you are as a person. So it doesn't have to specifically be balance, but that might resonate for some of you since that's something I'm going through too. I pulled the Truth card as well. Finding your own truth. The Future card. And I pulled Sacred Unity. Okay. And I'm just going to pull one more in the Astrology deck. It's just Jupiter return benefits. Awesome. I love seeing that. I'm really getting the sense that this Jupiter return is saying that the shadow work that we're doing now at this new moon is going to provide enormous benefits down the road. Especially because it's making a trine to Pluto in the 4th house. I feel like that's saying our foundation is going to grow stronger. We're going to be able to build more on top of it. And also I feel like this shadow work is asking us to change on the deeper emotional level, because that's what the 4th house is. It's our genetic makeup for how we are emotionally reacting and responding to the world. And sometimes the shadow can come in and filter and change how we are on an emotional level day to day. And we're meant to be really diving deep into that and understanding why we're reacting to things the way that we are and what's driving us. I mean, the shadow, it can be so many different things, but I feel like this Truth card is saying it's uncovering the truth behind our actions, behind our beliefs, behind our thoughts, behind our words. I feel like the 8th house is about a deeper truth, especially with this trine to Pluto. The Pluto and the 8th house work so well together. It's the same essence, the same energy. And it's about uncovering this deeper truth of our essence and why. Again, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Like, what shadow is driving us? Let's get to the truth behind that shadow. And I feel like a lot of this has to do with stuff related to the future. So I feel like it's interesting. I kind of feel like this Sacred Unity and this Future card, I feel like the universe is saying that we are being really divinely guided right now and really supported by the universe in creating something for our future right now. And I think that that's part of the reason why we have the North Node in the 9th house with Mercury conjunct it. It's like we're getting this divine clarity about more of our life direction, about the future. The 9th house is like this, is a lot of astrology is in the 9th house because it predicts the future. And I feel like that the Mercury conjunct the North Node is like, okay, this is the direction, this is the clarity, this is where we're moving in the future. The universe is being like, hell yeah, we're coming in here, we're supporting you, we're giving you that wisdom, that knowledge for how to move forward. But in order to really receive these Jupiter benefits, you have to make some pretty big changes. I don't know if changes is the right word. I feel like it's releasing the shadow. Or maybe not even releasing it, but just knowing that it's there, shining the light on it, having the truth of it, and seeing how it's influencing you. It's like you might need to make changes based off of what you discover. I think that's different for each person. You might need to make changes to bring some things in your life to more of a balance. If after you do the shadow work, you see what is out of balance, what needs fixing. It's like there needs to honestly be a balance between the shadow and the light. What's seen, like like not what's seen and what's unseen, because I do feel like we're meant to be seeing the shadow at this time, but the shadow isn't meant to just be like fully, we're not just trying to get rid of the shadow. We're supposed to integrate it. We're supposed to work with it. We're supposed to recognize it and accept it, because if we try to resist it or just fully eliminate it, that's really when we start to actually become out of balance, because we are made up of light and dark. We are meant to have a shadow self, but we're also meant to bring it to light and see the truth in it, and not let it, run our life without us recognizing that it is running our life. So there is this need to balance the light and the dark within us, and to work with the shadow in a really positive and nurturing way. I feel like that's why it's making a sextile to Neptune in the 6th house. When I think of the 6th house, I think of like the things that we do every single day. And Neptune is this more spiritual essence. So it's like we're meant to have these daily spiritual practices to really sit with that shadow, to really uncover what is there, the truth behind it, so that we can bring it to light and create that sense of balance, to fully understand and integrate that side of ourselves, instead of resisting it or rejecting it, because that's when it rears its ugly head and it takes more control. So I feel like that more of like a disciplined practice, or not even, I hate to say the word discipline, but it's like I want to say discipline, a discipline or consistent spiritual practice to examine the shadow is going to be very important for us. And it's going to transform us on an emotional level, and it's going to help us create this future that we can see so clearly in our mind's eye now, with Mercury conjunct the North Node in the 9th house. We are being guided by the hand of God, and we are the ones holding ourselves back from achieving that full potential until we can create this greater sense of balance within ourselves. And then I feel like we're going to hit those Jupiter returns, and we're going to start seeing those benefits. So it's so worth this effort. It's so worth this effort. And if you're thinking about working with a psychologist or a counselor of some sort, this is your sign to do so. So I hope that this resonates. If so, please like and comment down below. I read every single comment, and they mean so much to me. Even if I'm slow to respond, it's just because I'm not on YouTube all the time. And if you guys are interested in booking an astrology reading, you can do that in the link down below. And also, if you're interested in learning about your purpose, your gifts, your life direction, then you'll want to join the North Node Society, which you can join using the waitlist info below. You're not signing up or anything. It's just a waitlist, and I'll notify you when it's open at the end of May. And I just want to say how much I appreciate and love you guys, and hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Scorpio Rising. So for you Scorpios, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 7th house of relationships. And usually when it's happening on this axis, it's going to be very important in your life. Like, you're going to see more of a physical manifestation of it. And definitely, I feel like this is absolutely coming through in terms of your partnerships, in terms of feeling joy and understanding your partner and communicating with your partner, because this new moon is also making a sextile to Neptune in the 5th house. So even if you're not with someone, I see this being a really beautiful opportunity to start dating. And I really feel like, since this has a lot to do with releasing shadows, it can be releasing a lot of maybe some fears that you have around partnerships, or like, I feel like fear that might inhibit you from really communicating about your needs, your wants, your feelings, because you also have Pluto. Like I said, this new moon is also making a trine to Pluto in the 3rd, And the larger cycle that's going on with that is a transformation occurring in the way that you think and the way that you communicate. And since it's interacting with this new moon, it's basically saying that the way you think and communicate is being transformed in your relationships as well. So, and it doesn't have to be like partners necessarily. It can be any intimate, close relationship where you are experiencing this need to be vulnerable and speak in a way. Why am I not? I'm trying to shuffle and get more cards, but nope, there we go. But yes, speak and sharing your emotions with people. Yeah, I pulled the Queen of Cups, sensitivity. That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like there is this new cycle starting to happen where you're being asked to really open up and share some of your more emotional nature. And Scorpio risings, that can be hard for you guys. I mean, being vulnerable, really opening up to people, that is not what you initially do. You know, it's like Scorpios, I think, have this innate lack of trust in people. And it takes them a while to open up. And I feel like this is saying it's time to really lean on your partners and in your relationship and really communicate and open up and share what you're thinking, what you're feeling with them. Co-creation. I'm also getting the sense that this new moon happening in the 7th house, it's possible that you could be working with someone. Co-creation, normally when this card normally means is working with spirit. And of course, that's like always going on. So yeah, I do get that. But really, I'm getting a sense that you could be literally working with someone. And this could mean just working on building a life with somebody, or it can mean working like with colleagues or working with a specific person on creating something. Yeah, I'm just getting the sense that you plus others are going to create something, whatever that is. And so I really feel like there is a need here to transform the way that you communicate with people throughout that process. Not being afraid to share your ideas, being confident in your own power and your own thoughts, and knowing that you're very smart, that you're very intelligent, that you have a lot to offer, and sharing those without any kind of filter or feeling unencumbered. So I do feel like that's a big part of what's going on. I also find this really strange. I pulled 2 major arcana cards, the Chariot and Temperance, which have complete opposite energies. One of them is all about momentum, and one of them is about saying like, okay, just breathe, just chill. It's going to happen on its own divine timing, blah, blah, blah. So it's weird that I'm getting like, it's like this hurry up and wait kind of energy, which is so frustrating. So frustrating. I don't know if you guys have experienced that like prior to this moon, or if you guys are going to experience it after it, but I'm getting that there's a green light, but that there's also a green light on something, but it's also saying like, okay, but this is going to take time to unfold. And the just breathe, I feel like, is saying just wait for things to fall into place when they're meant to fall into place. I feel like the Chariot was saying that there was like maybe momentum at first for something, but then it kind of calmed down. Or maybe it's saying that the Chariot is like, you are going to be successful, because typically that's what the Chariot means. Like, this is what you're meant to do. Like, you're on this path. There are green lights and you're going to have success in some way. But with this Just Breathe card, there is some element here of divine timing and needing to really be patient. Oh, Scorpio. I keep doing that. I keep pulling the card for the sign that we're in. I also pulled Chiron healing and Mercury mind. You guys, what was I just saying about your mind and your communication? That is what you're working on right now. I feel like you guys are healing your mindset and your communication. And honestly, maybe why you have to wait a little bit for this thing to take place is because you have some more healing to do around your mindset and around how you would communicate in order to bring this thing to life with somebody else or possibly with spirit. There's definitely something that you're creating in your life right now. And I feel like it's something that came in from an intuitive download. Like, I think it's something that the universe is saying that it gave you intuitively, and you're tapping into your third eye and saying, okay, I feel like I'm meant to do this. But maybe the just breathe card is coming in here kind of blocking you, and you're like, wait a second, I thought I was supposed to do this. And then you start second guessing yourself. But that's why you're meant to heal your mindset, because you're meant to believe even when things are paused, even when things aren't moving quickly. You're meant to believe in yourself and that things are going to work out. You're also there might be some things that you need to heal in your mindset before you can have this chariot energy. It's like you're not fully mentally prepared. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's still something that needs to be transformed within you. Some old pattern of old mindset. And I feel like this new moon is going to help you do that. And the sextile to Neptune in the 5th house, I feel like is saying that, I think that's tying in this aspect of creation. Like the Neptune in the 5th house is this spiritual download of something that you want to create. And I feel like, again, this is saying that you can do this, and you're going to do this with someone else, or your relationship is going to be very important in supporting you emotionally throughout that process. But again, there's something that needs to change in your mindset in order for this to happen. And you guys have Mercury and Gemini in the 8th house and your North Node there as well. Mercury's conjunct the North Node. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely some thought patterns that you guys need to release. Having the North Node in the 8th house is a lot about releasing fears. A lot about releasing fears. And ways that you limit yourself because of those fears. And Mercury here, I feel like, is giving you insight into what those fears and self-limitations are. And it's asking you to shift the way that you think in order to align yourself with the momentum that is ready to carry you away to success. So this feels really positive, but it's going to take work and effort on your part. It's not just going to happen. You guys need to put in the effort to transform. And I think a lot of the healing will just take place kind of naturally as you do that. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. If this resonates, please like and comment down below. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all the comments. They mean so much to me, and I love you guys. If you're interested in purchasing a reading, you can do so down below. And of course, if you're interested in North Node Society, we're going to be talking all about your purpose, your life direction, your innate gifts. And if that sounds exciting to you, you can join the waitlist down below. Thanks. Bye. All right, up next we have Sagittarius Rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines. And it's making a sextile to Neptune in your 4th house of home and family and foundations, and a trine to Pluto in the 2nd house. I love to pull some tarot cards to kind of go along with the messages, and it helps me gain a lot of clarity about what this means. 2 major arcanas, the Emperor and the Star, you guys. This feels like really big energy, which is interesting because normally when we have a new moon in the 6th house, it's not really something that we feel very intensely. I shouldn't say that we feel very intensely. I should say that we see very intensely. It's not like one of the more obvious moons, I should say. The Magician. What is going on, you guys? That's the 3rd major arcana, and they're all very, very positive. I'm seeing some very powerful manifestation energy coming through. So the Magician card is about creation. The Star card is about being super hopeful and planning for the future, and realizing that after this long cycle, after this hard time, that you're finally having this new beginning. And it feels very positive. And the Emperor is you stepping up as a leader, taking up space, owning your own power, and recognizing how much control you have in manifesting what you want in your life. And what's crazy is that you guys have the North Node in your seventh house right now. So this past year and until I think December, before the North Node, when the North Node moves into Taurus, um, it's drawing a lot of attention to how you are in relationships, how you work with others. And it's calling you to step up in that level of your life. And sometimes that means committing to a partner. Sometimes that means, healing aspects of your relationships that you haven't maybe necessarily worked on before. Patterns, yeah. Releasing patterns in terms of relationships. And I feel like because Mercury is going to be aligning with the North Node in your seventh house, you might start to gain clarity about what some of those patterns are in your partnerships and how to kind of heal them and release them and let them go. Having this moon in the sixth house, it's so interesting. This could be a new work opportunity, but I'm really, with the Emperor and the Magician and the Star, this is such big energy. It feels like you creating something. Like this is the energy of somebody who goes and starts a business that's successful, or who goes and starts a family, or whatever it is that you want to create. Like you going out and making it instead of just like working under somebody and being told what to do. The Emperor leads. The Emperor takes up space. The Emperor is the one giving directions. So I'm really getting the sense that you guys are stepping up in a huge way in your life. Let me pull one more Goddess card. I feel like you guys could be really up-leveling your foundations. Co-creation, yeah. I think this co-creation is really you guys seeing how powerful you are when you're working in alignment with the universe. I just can't believe how positive these cards are. I feel like you guys are really starting a new chapter here in terms of work. I mean, so it might be that you're getting a new job. It might be that you're getting a new position in the job that you have. Part of fortune increase. I keep getting repeat cards. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the sense that you guys are going to be stepping up and making more money. I feel like you guys are going to be just taking on more responsibility. It's a sense I'm getting that you guys are, with this Emperor card, I'm feeling it very strongly. Like you are taking so much power back within your career area, within your work. Aquarius, I know. So Aquarians, they're very smart. And they're also very intuitive. So I feel like you guys probably already know what these changes are. I don't think it's something out of left field. I'm getting the sense that this is something that you have been working on, that you have been consciously co-creating to manifest with the world, with the universe. I'm getting a sense with this Magician and co-creation, like you've probably been like scripting, or you've been consciously thinking or somehow trying to manifest whatever tools or methods you use or energy you use. I'm getting the sense that you are really drawing on all of your, inner resources, your intuition, and all of that to manifest something into your life. I really feel like it's going to come through in terms of career, but I also feel like a separate message is that relationship patterns are falling away and that you're up-leveling in your relationships. And I feel like that is going to ultimately support what's going on in your life as you up-level into this like badass CEO kind of person. And because this moon is making a sextile to Neptune in the fourth house, I feel like it's allowing you to lay really strong foundations. Like maybe this new job opportunity, or being given a higher position in your work, or taking on more responsibility, or starting your own business, that is going to ultimately allow you to maybe buy a house, or maybe to just feel very confident in your abilities, because Pluto moving to the second house is you having this larger cycle of developing your skills and abilities, developing your ability to manifest, developing your resources. I feel like you guys are really building and building and building a foundation with the sextile to Neptune in the fourth, home and family foundation, and then trying to put on the second, money, resources, and skills foundation. I feel like your work, your new work beginning, is flowing into these areas of your life and really building those up so that your foundation is so strong that you can do just about anything. I mean, it's going to take time because it's a new moon. It's not here already. But this Magician card is saying, hell yeah, you guys are going to start manifesting some crazy stuff in your career right now, in your job. Yeah, that's really what I'm seeing for you guys. I mean, again, the separate second message is this need to be very careful about the way that you communicate in your relationships, the way that you think in your relationships. To you're going to gain some clarity about how you show up and that aspect of your life, and you're meant to break some of those patterns that are not healthy anymore in terms of your relationships. And again, that's going to support you up leveling to this like badass person. Your message is super clear, so I feel like that's all I'm going to say. But ultimately, I feel like you're meant to rely not only on your wisdom, like your intellect, but on your intuition. And that following this path, taking those steps, taking up space, realizing how much of a master manifester you are, is going to help you reach this point of success in your life where you feel like you're in a true state of abundance, and where you can tap into this increase. You can create this increase in abundance on your own. It's like, I feel like you guys are really realizing how good you are at manifesting. That's really what I'm feeling like. The Magician, the co-creation, the Emperor, the Star, all of these are cards that are saying you have the ability to create anything you want. So any kind of shadows that are standing in your way, telling you that you can't do those things, any kind of insecurities that are standing in your way, that are making you feel like you're not this master manifester, that is being cleared away at this new moon. And it's going to ultimately give you this amazing opportunity in your career once you've cleared those shadows away or any insecurities away, telling you that you are somehow subservient or somehow less than other people or somehow not good enough. All those things are being cleared away right now. Like, those shadows are meant to be addressed at this new moon. And then after that, you guys are in the freaking clear. Like, after that, you're going to manifest like boom, boom, boom. Because I'm seeing that as being the only thing that's really standing in your way at this time. All right, that's what I'm seeing for you guys. If you enjoyed this, please like and comment down below. The comments mean so much to me. I just want to say thank you guys so much for those who write down below if it resonates or anything about their life. It just makes my day every time I receive one. And if you want to purchase an astrology reading, you can do so from willowsboom.com, which is linked below. And if you're interested in learning about astrology, your life purpose, your life direction, your gifts, and how to really tap into those and overcome limiting beliefs, then you should join the waitlist for the North Node Society, which is also listed down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Capricorn Rising. So for Capricorns, this new moon is going to be happening in your 5th house of romance, of joy, of sexuality, of creative self-expression, which is really beautiful. Again, it's going to be conjunct Black Moon Lilith here. And you guys, it's also going to be making a sextile to Neptune in your 3rd house. Judgment, reckoning, interesting. And it's also going to be, come on now, focus. This new moon is also going to be making a trine to Pluto in your 1st house. So what I've been saying to a lot of the groups so far is really focusing on this Pluto aspect here, this larger cycle of Pluto moving through your 1st house. And the reason I'm really being drawn to it is because of the fact that it is involved in this new moon. Apprentice of Gems, this is Knight of Pentacles, efficiency. So really what I'm seeing with Pluto moving through your 1st house is a larger cycle of you guys undergoing some deep metamorphosis on a very soul level, on a very cellular level, in terms of your physical appearance, your personality, your health, your life direction, your purpose, the way that you connect with others, the way that you understand and look at the world. Every aspect of yourself is going through a deep metamorphosis as Pluto moves through your 1st house. And that has a lot to do with this new moon, which is again related to your creative self-expression. I feel like there are some blockages here in terms of I just looked at this and I think in terms of money. But yeah, I feel like there are some blockages here in terms of your creative self. Like there's something that with this new moon in the fifth house, I am getting a sense that it is like this new creative beginning, but every group, it's like the new beginning is there's some shadows that have to be worked through to get to that new beginning. And that's because this moon is conjunct Lilith. Scarcity mentality. I knew I was saying something about money. I just sometimes I think things, but I don't want to say it because I'm not certain, and I'm like, oh, that's not gonna resonate. So really, I'm definitely getting the sense of stuff around money, you guys. I feel like you guys are meant to create something. Like you're meant to develop your passions, go for your hobbies, your passions, and work on those. But I'm getting the sense that you feel like there isn't enough money in that. Or like you're not going to have that stability that you need from that. I feel like there's a fear around pursuing the things that bring you a lot of joy, because it feels like, oh, if I do that, that's a huge financial risk, or I don't know if it's going to pan out. Yeah. I also pulled the Revelation card and the Beauty card. It's interesting because I feel like this new moon in the fifth house is about creating beauty in our lives. Like the fifth house is so joyful. It's when we pursue our passions, when we pursue our hobbies, it feels so good. It feels like we're alive. It feels like we're untethered. We're just free. And that's what you're meant to be cultivating right now. And even pursuing this is going to be deeply transformative to who you are as a person. It's not just, oh, I'm going to do this creative thing that interests me. It's like, that thing is interesting to me because it's going to have reverberations into so many different areas of my life and deep into my soul as well. And it's going to create this inner sense of beauty in my life. It's going to be transforming in my life. And I feel like this Judgment card is kind of like, it says reckoning. I feel like this is kind of like, all right, it's do or die. Do or die. And I feel like that's what this Lilith is coming here to say, being conjunct this moon in the fifth house. It's like, do you want to create this? Or do you want to live in the fear that you're not going to have what you need? So do you want to pursue what's safe and what lights up your soul less? Or do you want to create something that feels exciting and feels risky? That's really the sense of what I'm getting. It's like this do or die moment. And the shadow that needs to be released is related to fifth housing. So it's actually related to this creative venture and your joy and pleasure and even your relationships. It's like the joy within your partnerships. It's like, I feel like there is a shadow. It's like you're trying to pursue your joy and there's a shadow that comes in there and tries to take it away and bring you back to this feeling of being scared, or like there's not enough, or like something bad is going to happen. I feel like that's what this Judgment card is like, are you going to let those thoughts alter your decisions or not? You have the choice now to look past those fears, to release those shadows of feeling like you're not going to be supported, and to really alter your mindset, because this new moon is making a sextile to Neptune in the third. So your mindset, I feel like, is ultimately, with Neptune in the third, I feel like you're lacking clarity. Like you're not really having full clarity of the whole picture and how this relates to like maybe you have a vision of like what you want down the road, but you're kind of lacking clarity about the daily decisions that you have to make to get there. But that sextile to Neptune is saying you are actually being guided by God and you're being supported if you just allow yourself to not have the answers. It's actually, and you just follow your intuition instead of trying to be super logical, you're actually going to feel really good about it. Like your mindset is actually going to be at ease because you're just following your creative intuition and insights that come up for you. And I feel like this revelation card is really pertaining to Mercury being conjunct the North Node, which for you guys is happening in Gemini in the 6th house. The 6th house is where I see a lot of our insecurities come into play. I feel like there's a lot of self-doubt in the 6th house. It's where we're trying to attain this perfection. And it's just realizing life isn't perfect. We're not perfect. It's not possible. And it's this futile fight that we're having to be this perfect person, to never make mistakes, to achieve the success that we know we can achieve. And it's like this uphill battle with our mindset. And I feel like the revelation is going to come in about, like, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to be perfect. And I feel like the revelation is fully realizing how human you are and how much of this is just a part of life experience. Not having clarity is okay. Taking a risk on your desires, on your creative desires is okay. And totally changing your life is okay. Like Pluto in the 1st house, you're changing your life slowly but surely and drastically. When you look back, it'll be drastic, the change that you've created, but it's going to be so slow you might not realize how drastic it is in the moment that you're doing it. But you're meant to be really, I feel like, finding your way right now. So that's why I feel like the revelation card is kind of showing you how these thoughts that you're having about trying to like be this perfect person, have all the answers and have it all together, I feel like that's actually holding you back. And it's just saying you're not really going to find your happiness there. Yeah, I feel like you're going to get more clarity about maybe your work, like the work that you're meant to do right now. Like if you have a job or something, not like your purpose, but like the job that you're using to help you fund your dreams and your hobbies and your goals. I feel like you'll get more clarity about what that is with Mercury conjunct the North Node. That could also be the revelation, but I feel like the revelation is twofold. You'll get the clarity on what job you need to have, but then you'll get the clarity on how important it is for you to look past these shadows, to let go of these shadows that are keeping you from pursuing the things that really bring you joy. So if there's something that you feel called to do, you're so meant to do it, but there are shadows in the way and you're meant to not let those shadows dictate your decision. It's the reckoning. You have the choice. Do you want to make the decision based off of those shadows or not? Do you want to live in this state of a scarcity mentality in whatever area of your life it is? Whether it's finances, whether it's not having the resources or the people or the relationships or the job, whatever it is you feel like is scarce, you're letting that make your decision for you. But I feel like you're going to start coming into work because, or at least clarity about what the next job will be. Like I'm just seeing like the Nine of Pentacles is a card of building finances. So if your fear is around finances, I'm getting the feeling that you're going to be building finances, you know? It's like if you let this scarcity mentality hold you back now and you're waiting to be at this place where you have all this money, I feel like you might regret that. I don't know. I'm getting the sense that there's some kind of like leap of faith here to follow your heart. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in creating something. It could be like in a relationship or in starting a family. Like it doesn't have to be in like making something like physical. But I'm getting a sense that your heart is telling you to do something and you're scared. Like you're letting your fear get the best of you. You're feeling like you don't have enough of something, and I think it's money, to do that thing. Or you don't have like enough of whatever it is. Like there's some fears holding you back. And it's saying you're not going to create the beauty in your life if you don't follow the things that feel beautiful to you and feel exciting for you. I feel like that's part of what that revelation will be. All right, you guys, that's what I'm seeing for you. If you enjoyed this, please like and comment down below. I really, really love all of the comments. They mean so, so much to me. So thank you guys so much if you're doing that. And if you're interested in purchasing astrology reading, you can do so from willsboom.com, which is linked below. And if you're interested in the North Node Society, where you will learn about your purpose, your life direction, all about astrology, and how to overcome limiting beliefs, then you should join the waitlist for the North Node Society, which is linked down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Aquarius Rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Taurus is happening in your 4th house of home and family. And as I've been saying to many of the other groups who have similar placements, whenever something occurs in your 1st, 7th, 4th, or 10th house, a new moon, you tend to feel that pretty strongly. You tend to see the results in your life more strongly than you would in others. So it's basically just something more impactful, essentially, because the 4th house, home and family foundations, that's so essential to who you are. So whenever you're having a new beginning in that area, it's like, wow, you know, I feel like a quarter of my life is being just totally transformed in some way. So this new moon is making a sextile to Neptune in your 2nd house and a trine to Pluto in your 12th house. All right, I would like to pull one more card. So I like to pull cards along with these astrology readings because it gives me a lot more clarity of direction of how this energy might be felt for you guys. The Devil. One more. I like to pull one more. So having the Black Moon Lilith conjunct this moon in the 4th house is definitely saying that there are some shadows that are being illuminated that need to be worked through in terms of your foundations, in terms of your home, in terms of your family. It could also have a lot to do with your emotions, your emotional nature. Sometimes there are sides of ourselves emotionally that are holding us back. Maybe we're holding on to emotions from the past, from our childhood, fears, or things that we've inherited from family that are really just not helping us. Okay, pulled the Creative Spark for you guys. I pulled Death and Magic. Stillness and Salvation. And I'm just going to pull one more astrology card. It's funny because I also pulled the Knight of Wands, which says adventure. And then right next to it, I pulled the Creative Spark, Void of Course, Moon, and Grand Cross Provoker. You guys got a lot of cards. Why so many cards? Void of Course. This, going along with the stillness, is there's something that needs some time to play out here. Especially because the first card I pulled was the Wheel of Fortune, which is cycles. Whenever I see this card come up, it's like an ending of a cycle, a starting of a new one. The feeling, though, that I'm getting for you guys, it's not that. It's like a full ending and a new beginning. I mean, it is because it's a new moon. But really what I'm getting is that, like, I feel like you're still in some part of the cycle where you don't have all the answers yet, and you're meant to be in stillness a little bit longer. Like, you're not meant to be immediately taking action. It's not that you can't take action. I'm feeling more of like an exploratory energy and less of like this is my plan and this is what I'm doing and I have total clarity on my life. Like, I'm definitely getting the sense that there is some element here of the unknown, and I think that's why the stillness is coming up and the Void of Course Moon. Something is missing, some information is missing, and you can explore now and kind of like see new things and get new ideas, but the clarity and the direction and like the end goal is not right there right now in terms of this new beginning in your home, your family, and even your finances and emotions. Like, there's some new beginning there that's not totally laid out for you guys. I also pulled the Provoker Grand Cross. So I'm definitely seeing that there are big changes that you guys need to make in order to actually step onto this new path. Like, I feel like I'm getting this whole story here of this whole cycle playing out in a way. Like, I feel like you guys right now are in this devil energy. I feel like you guys are in this energy of just, first of all, the devil is a Capricorn energy, which is a lot about wanting to work really hard and have a plan and be purposeful. So I feel like this is what you guys want. But at the same time, the other side of the devil is like the ways in which we restrict or restrain ourselves and hold ourselves back. And because this moon is conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which is a lot about our shadow side of our desires, I feel like there is something that you desire but are limiting yourself with in regards to your home, your family, your emotional nature, your financial foundation. Like, there is something in that area of your life that's holding you back. Like, you're meant to have a new beginning there, but you also need to release the shadow because you're limiting yourself for, like, around your family or your home or something. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys maybe are trying to pursue something with a career, but then there's part of you that's like, well, I have to be home, or I have to pay this mortgage, or I have to take care of the kids, or I have this emotional baggage from my family that tells me I can't do it. There's like some way that you're restricting yourself because of the family, that's allowing you to not fully progress down the cycle. So there's that you're meant to move through. And I feel like this Death and Magic card and this Provoker card are saying there needs to be some big shifts. Like, you need to really let some things go. Whether this is energetically or physically, that's really dependent on you and your life and what's going on. But there's definitely the sense here that there needs to be alterations. Like, you can't achieve what you want to achieve to feel fulfilled until you have let things go, until you have allowed things to change and multiple things to change. This Grand Cross is comprised of multiple squares, and a square is something that needs a change, that it requires change in our life. So to me, that is saying that you guys are being asked to change multiple areas of your life. And I feel like that's why this Death and Magic came through. It's like things have to die off in your life in order for magic to come in and work its magic. In order for like the universe to work its magic and to put you on to something, to some path that feels really exciting for you. I feel like you are going to be saved. Like the salvation card, immediately when I pulled it, I was like, the universe is going to come in here and give you like this golden nugget. Again, I'm seeing this whole path. So I know I'm saying that this is all around this new moon, but I feel like this is a longer thing. I feel like I'm seeing your whole cycle playing out right now. So right now you're in this, let me retrace. Right now you're in this devil energy. You're holding yourself back and limiting yourself. And this is step 1 of the cycle that you're in. This is step 1. You're in this cycle right now where you are meant to be pursuing something different. You know you're meant to be pursuing something different. And that's why you have fucking Jupiter and Saturn moving through the first house. It is rebuilding you on a structural, internal level. You know that there is something else out there for you. You know it. You know it. Once it moves into the second house, you're going to have a lot more clarity, but it's still going to be there for the rest of the year at least. A little bit more for Saturn. So yeah, you guys are like having this rebuilding internally happening, and you're starting this beginning of the cycle where you're starting to recognize the ways in which your home family is somehow holding you back because of your shadows around that, whether that's to do with your ancestry and what you're holding on to from that, your emotions. Anyway, I already kind of mentioned that. And then, so this new moon is about working on releasing that. And then I feel like after you're releasing that, you're stepping into, I feel like you're stepping into some stillness. Like you're not meant to have the answers still. I feel like you're just meant to be having fun and exploring things. But I feel like the stillness isn't you not doing stuff, because I have this creative spark and adventure card. To me, this is you going out and exploring, seeing what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, following your pleasure, just kind of dabbling in things, but not making huge changes to your life. And so once you start to release these self limitations, you will allow yourself to explore these creative outlets without just automatically blocking them off. Because I feel like that's what you're doing right now, is like your new cycle is beginning and you're getting maybe a little bit of insights here and there about like, oh, that interests me, that sounds interesting, or that sounds fun. And then you're kind of like blocking it because of what's going on with these home and family, like shadows around the home and family. So this is saying once you clear those, then you can start to pursue those little things, but you're not going to have total clarity about where they're going. And that might lead you to a little bit more devil energy of like, well, why am I doing this? What is this for? And then the universe is really saying that you're not going to have that total clarity until you realize what changes need to be made in your life. So that will probably happen over the summer with eclipse season. You're going to have some reckoning. You're going to have some moments in your life that are tower moments, or moments where you have this huge realization about, I need to fully change this. Like, I need to really let this thing go. I need to, stop whatever this cycle is in order to pursue these passions. Again, I see that happening during eclipse season, which is coming up over the summer. So in the summer, you're probably going to have all these realizations like, oh my gosh, this, oh my gosh, that, oh my gosh, this. And then you're going to start releasing some things, letting some things go, making some changes. And I feel like this is when the universe is going to step in and give you this insight like, okay, this is what you're meant to do. This is where you're going to find purpose. This is what's going to make you feel fulfilled. And you're not going to have this realization until you move through this whole process. So step 1 is happening at this new moon, which is releasing some of these restrictions that you're imposing on yourself for around home and family. Some shadow restrictions that you're like, I can't pursue those creative ideas or those interests that I have because of this to do with my family, this to do with my home, this to do with my foundation, this to do with my money. There's something there that you're like, no, I can't do that because of this. And it's just not true. You're doing it to yourself and you need to stop. And once you stop that at this new moon, once you release that at this new moon, then you're finally going to be able to pursue those things, not have total clarity, make really big life changes. And then you're going to have the clarity come in with this salvation card. And this moon is also making a sextile to Neptune in the second house. So I feel like it's saying that maybe a lot of what you're fearful of, and a lot of what you need to heal is just you not being good enough, or you not having enough money or support. It's like there is a fear around not having the stability that you need to pursue these creative things. Like, and that stability somehow funnels into your family and your home life. It's like, okay, I'm not making enough. If I do this, I wouldn't make enough money for my kids or something like that. Like that's really the thought process I'm seeing, but it's the devil card is saying that it's self-imposed and that it's not true. Like, you can make it happen. So don't allow that to limit yourself. You also have, this new moon is also making a trine to Pluto on the 12th. So there's a lot of fear here around, I feel like this is fear from honestly past lives. Like, these are things that, or at least childhood, things that have built up that you're finally starting to release. Like, you're finally starting to be like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can take this chance on myself. Yeah. And it's so funny because I'm getting this really strong emphasis on this creative spark and this adventure card. Like, I'm getting the sense that you guys are wanting to do something creative, and you guys also have your North Node in the 5th house of creativity, creating something. And maybe it's even a family. Like, it doesn't have to be like a work. It can be literally creating life. It can be creating anything. And Mercury is there conjunct the North Node. I feel like you're going to be getting clarity about what that next step is. Like, what do I want to create? What seems exciting creatively for me? Like, what do I want to explore? What adventure do I want to go on? That's so 5th house. The 5th house is like, let's go on an adventure. Let's go have fun. Let's go see what we enjoy. And Mercury conjunct the North Node there is saying that you're going to have the insight about what that is that you want to explore. You're not going to see the long-term vision. You're not going to know how this is going to play out. You're not going to have that perfectly defined career goal already waiting for you because of the stillness and the void of course moon, I feel like that needs time. You need to make changes before that happens, before that clarity comes in. But you know the breadcrumbs, and that's all you need. You just need the breadcrumbs to get started. But you're stopping yourself because of these fears, these insecurities, these feelings like you don't have enough stability in some sense. You don't have enough support in some sense, or enough skills. And it's just not true. So it's time to explore that. It's time to let that go. I know this is kind of redundant in a long message, but I hope that it resonates. And if so, please like and comment down below. I really appreciate the comments. They mean so much to me, guys. I just want to say thank you if you are commenting. If you're interested in purchasing astrology reading, you can do so from willsboom.com, which is linked below. And lastly, if you're interested in learning about your life purpose, your life direction, your gifts and skills, innate abilities, and to overcome limiting beliefs, then I highly suggest checking out the North Node Society, which I'll be launching at the end of May, and you can join the waitlist down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, and lastly, we have Pisces Rising. So for you guys, this new moon in Aquarius is happening in your third house of mindset, of communication, of relating to one another, sharing ideas, traveling around your area, things like that. This new moon is making a sextile to Neptune, which is in your first house of self, and it's making a trine to Pluto in the 11th house of relationships, of friendships, of hopes and wishes for the future. Yeah. So I'd like to find some or pull some cards to go along with the messages, because I feel like everything just comes together that way for me. And it just feels like things are missing when you don't have it together. Oh, victory! 6 of Wands. Wow, you guys. That's awesome. All right, that card clearly wants to come out. 6 of Cups, raindrops. Okay, I'm noticing a theme of 6 here. I wonder what that is. 6 has a lot to do with creating balance in your life. It's a lot to do with like equal give and take. 8 of Cups, walk away. I'm really feeling like you guys are supposed to be walking away from things from your past with this memories and the walk away card. It's like, I feel like you guys are basically, yeah, I wonder, yeah. So having the new moon in the third house, generosity, yeah. 6 of Pentacles, again, this is an equal give and take. Very interesting. So you guys have this perfect equal give and take where you start to get things back, where you have been putting energy into things in the universe, and it finally starts to manifest and come back to you. And this victory card, so this is saying success, you guys are going to get what you want. This effort that you've been putting in is going to start paying off. But between these two cards, you have the 6 of Cups and the 8 of Cups. And this is really about releasing some emotional things from the past. I feel like you guys are maybe stuck in this kind of emotional thought loop that can keep you from attaining these two cards, this victory, this financial success, this equal give and take. I feel like your manifestations can't come through until you clear up your mindset. And honestly, this is not to throw any shade on Pisces. They're one of my favorite signs. But Pisces are prone to self-victimization, where you can feel like things are happening to you, like you don't always have control or agency. There can be that feeling of also being stuck on the past. And so it's going to be very important for you to be mindful of any kind of thought tendencies that are not helping you right now, that are shadow versions of yourself coming through, because this new moon is conjunct Black Moon Lilith in your third house of your thinking, of your communication. So I'm really feeling like you guys are having some kind of shadow self thoughts that are possibly keeping you stuck and reminiscing, and maybe these really sad things from the past, or not even, they don't even have to be sad, but they can just be things in the past. And if you guys know anything about Louise Hay, one of her famous messages that she says is that the point of power is in the present moment. And I feel like you guys are really taking away your personal power when you're stuck thinking about anything in regards to the past. If something didn't work out as you expected and it's disappointing you, and you're letting that guide your thoughts and feelings now, that's taking away your power from manifesting in this present moment, from actually seeing results. Because I feel like you guys are putting in the work. I'm getting the sense that you're definitely putting in the work and you're waiting for your manifestations to come back and be victorious. And I am getting the sense that you will do that, but first you have to walk away from some of these things from the past or thoughts from the past that are not helping. And because this new moon is making a sextile to Neptune in the first house, I feel like it's saying that this could be a recurring pattern in your life where you could be somebody who does get caught up on past events more or has trouble releasing and letting go of things when it's time to release them and let it go. And it's saying that ultimately by doing this and by changing this aspect of who you are or working on this aspect of who you are, you're going to start to see that you have more power to manifest in this moment and things start to come to fruition more for you. I also feel like this could somehow have to do with relationships with other people because this new moon is making a trine to Pluto in the 11th house. So if you are walking away from memories of the past, it could literally be about a friendship, about a connection with somebody. I am getting the feeling that for some of you, because it's cups, that it is about emotional connection, emotional attachment to somebody. And for whatever reason, it's just not benefiting you to sit with that anymore. It's just not helping you ultimately with your goals. So if that is what's going on for you, then maybe it's time to release that connection or that memory of that connection. Or it's possible with this trine to Pluto that maybe it's time to let go of an old vision for your life and step into a new vision for your life. And because the 11th house has a lot to do with that vision, it has a lot to do with our goals. And maybe you have some way of being or some memories or something from the past that you're like, I like that way of being. But sometimes we have to let go and mature, and let go of some of like the fun, lighthearted aspects of being young to step into more mature, bigger goals. And honestly, it's not always easy because it's hard to shed our old selves because there's always some aspect of that self that we liked, and that's why we were that way. So it's going to be really important for you to just keep your mind on what is your end goal here, what you really, really, truly want out of life. Because if you're letting things go, if you're walking away from something, you need to have your vision set onto something else. You need to know why you're walking away from something and what it's going to do for you emotionally, physically, intellectually to leave that thing behind. There has to be a bigger reason or a bigger benefit to leaving it behind than to staying. And you guys have to be super clear about that. So whatever that is, emotionally, intellectually, in your mind, that needs to be let go of, that needs to be released from the past. Yeah, you just have to come to terms with it. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Come to terms with it and set your sights on something that feels bigger and more exciting, and use that as a leverage that can kind of hoist that thing from the past and throw it into the lake or the river where it really belongs. You guys also have Mercury and Gemini in the 4th house conjunct your the North Node there. So I feel like you guys are going to be getting more clarity about how to build the foundation for your future. You're going to have more clarity coming in, or more insights coming in around things to do with things to do with home and family. So maybe you guys are interested in buying a house. Maybe you guys are wanting to settle down or create just more stability for yourselves. And that's possibly why you want to manifest more. And I feel like this is saying that you can do that, and you're going to get more insights into how to do that. But first you have to start letting these things go from the past so that you can really up level and become this next version of yourself that's able to achieve that sense of stability, that's able to build that foundation, and that's able to, create that home that you want. I also pulled the solar eclipse revolution card, and I feel like the revolution is happening on an internal level. I feel like you guys have already done a lot of the work. You've already prepared a lot of the stuff on the external. It's not like you guys need to make all these huge changes in your life. Normally when I think of the solar eclipse, I think of big life changes, but I feel like those are going to come in naturally for you once you make the internal changes. Like, I feel like what you guys have done is put in the legwork, done the things, and set everything up to receive the blessings. But I feel like these blessings are being blocked because of these because of your emotional focus on the past and things that you need to walk away from. But once you walk away from it, you're going to open up that doorway and they're going to start coming in, and then your life is going to have a flood of these new changes coming in as a solar eclipse, but they're just going to be natural ramifications for all the work that you've done so far, and it's going to feel like really positive, uplifting changes. And I feel like this knowledge card is saying that you guys already know that you've been meant to leave this behind. You guys have been sitting with this wisdom. You guys are this, like, she has this beautiful jewel over her third eye, and she has this owl on her shoulder, and this is this very feminine, intuitive wisdom. You guys are super intuitive. You already know. You're already so tapped into your life, to your direction, what your needs are. But I feel like there's a 5 on here as well. I feel like there has been a slight resistance to making the change, to making a change, to releasing some of the things from the past. And so I feel like that 5 is basically saying it's time to make those changes. It's time to release it. You already know what it is you need to release. If it's not resonating, if you don't know what it is, then this message is not for you. But specifically, there is somebody out there that needs to hear this, that there is something standing in your way where you're holding on to things from the past. You're holding on to an old way of being. You're holding on to an old person, and you're meant to walk away. And once you do that, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, once you do that, all those changes, all those manifestations are going to come in, and you're going to feel extremely victorious, and you're going to feel very proud of yourself, and you're going to realize how worth it was to walk away and energetically clear yourself so you can bring in some of the beautiful things that you've been desiring. So that's what I see for you guys, Pisces. If you've enjoyed this or if it resonated, please like and comment down below. I really, really appreciate every single comment. It means so much to me. I always read them, even if I'm slow to respond. And if you guys are interested in purchasing an astrology reading, you can do so at Willow's Bloom, linked below. And of course, if you're interested in the North Node Society, which I'm super psyched about, we're going to be talking about things like your life purpose, your direction, your innate gifts, how to clear away any limiting beliefs, all about astrology. If you're interested in those kinds of things, then I recommend that you join the waitlist, because that membership will be launching at the end of May, and you can join the waitlist down below. I hope you have a super, super beautiful day. I love you guys. Bye.